Hey guys, Mubarak here of Penny Stock. Hope you're doing well. In this episode, I want to talk to you guys about one of the best esports and overall sports crypto betting platforms that I've come across. Might be probably the next DraftKings or, it's going to be a massive player. They're doing all of the right things. Probably over up to 300-400 different types of crypto projects and ICOs that I've been reviewing and been looking at, and this definitely stands out as one of the top ones. So in this video, I want to go over what they're covering, why this is such a big industry, and why I feel like they'll succeed. So stay tuned to the end because I have a good surprise for you guys as well, related to BetU and what they're up to. So let's just get into it. You can see right here, right off the bat, that they're a sports and esports betting platform, but utilizing cryptocurrency. And so they're secured by smart contracts and they're powered by the BTU token. So, when I look at any of these new ICOs or cryptocurrency or token projects, essentially, there's always a variety of different factors and that I look at to make sure that they survive, all right, or that they're going to be here a while from now, because there's probably about 5 to 10 launching every single day at this point. When I started looking at these projects a couple years ago, there was probably less than 500 different cryptos and ICOs. Now there's over like 15,000 essentially. So it's very important to see, and one of the major indications of success, or that they actually have a good team in place, is the Pancake Swap integration or adoption, really, of being on that platform, because that means that they actually understand the market. They're not here for just a quick overnight buck, but in general, let's just keep going. So, another amazing thing is the amount of different platforms and leagues that you can bet on is pretty incredible. To establish that all from the get-go, UFC, EPL, NBA, NFL, here, the main popular sports, but then you even have, the international ones like, ICC cricket. I saw the English Premier League. Then you have video games too, Dota, and you're going to see more as they come. They have horse racing too, Formula One, PGA. So to be able to launch with all of these is pretty incredible. And as you can probably tell here, but in general, overall, sports betting is just a business that's getting bigger and bigger. If you take a look at some of the different kings in the industry, like DraftKings and those types of companies, as it's getting legalized on a state-by-state basis, the industry is becoming even bigger. So there's a lot of benefit here. So as a company as a whole, they definitely chose the right space. And they even have a very clean UI. You can see here. It's pretty nice, pretty smooth. I'll link in the description below how to join, how to register, how to join their whole ecosystem. But let's go into some of the different kind of aspects of to how it works, right? So first of all, there's even different kind of systems where you can actually be a bet maker and a bet taker actually as well. So you can kind of play both sides of it. You can set your own books essentially just by, joining the system and being part of the platform. And then of course there's live bets and, the normal kind of winning fashion. So the cool thing is that they're actually using the smart contract technology in the appropriate methodology that it's supposed to be used in. So what I mean by that is that there's a lot of cryptocurrency companies out there right now that are just trying to, act like, it almost reminds me of the .com era, where companies were basically just, taking a simple concept and just putting .com after it and trying to make it into some type of tech business. But it's not really authentic. Whereas in this case, the entire concept of smart contracts is almost essentially supposed to be utilized for this fashion, where you have somewhat of an escrow partner. You need to have some neutral party that's able to determine based on any certain outcome. So when it comes to betting, a win or a loss on any certain team or sport. And I think they're doing it right in that fashion. So this is definitely, if you want to learn more, obviously this is not investment advice, purely educational, just from my experience of almost a decade now, half a decade in about penny stocks in the stock market, and now the other half more in the cryptocurrency world. But you can join their Telegram to be able to get kind of more exposure to who's involved. I like this graphic here that they have, and again, their website is betu.io. So betu.io if you want to check it out. But I'll be going through a few more features on their platform so you can understand a good amount about their website. So let's get into the other kind of important portion of the economics behind all this, which is in relation to the token distribution. So this is pretty cool. It's not necessarily doing the typical ERC20 that I see a lot, which means that it's on the Ethereum chain, but instead BetU decided to go more for the Binance Smart Chain. And so it's a BEP20 token. That just means like the technology that's kind of powering and fueling the utility token. And it's on BSC, so that's the Binance Smart Chain. So pretty good. I think it gives us a more international appeal in that fashion. But you can see here, this is essentially what they're going to be doing with their tokens from a distribution standpoint. So how much is going where. This is essentially, whenever you get behind any project, you want to know where your money is going or how the company plans on utilizing the building of the funds, essentially. So here you can see, what is their focus. I like to see a larger part put into R&D and product. Legal and licensing is good. Exchanges, liquidity, operations. Sometimes I see these types of breakdowns with over 50% put into marketing and customer acquisition, and that kind of worries me because then it just seems like a kind of like a pump and dump. So I like how they have their breakdown and their allocation split up here. And this is always another, going back to the indicators of successful companies, this is always something important that I like to keep an eye out for. So the team should be easily available and you should be able to look and understand it. So let's say this guy, he sold machinesales.com. He's been in SEO. And it's good to always be able to just kind of reach out and check out their LinkedIns, see, what type of background they have. Because if you ever come across a project where the CEO or anybody on the team is not on LinkedIn or they're not showcasing that, you should definitely just kind of steer clear of that. So they have that. They have their CTO. So this person would be the engineer. So this way we want to see. Let's see. Who was that? This was Graham Malone. So I'm going to look him up near the end. And Scott. Let's take a look. Okay, good. Scott's here at least. So that's good. He is on it. He's a CFO of BetU and also has some other businesses as well that he's been in for 19 years. So pretty good, pretty reliable at this point. Again, these are all basically, I think of it as like a scoring metric, right? So I want to see all these things. I want to see that they're on PancakeSwap, that they have a good website, that they have a good allocation, that they have their team on display. These are all different ranking and priority factors that I like to put in place to make me feel comfortable about any certain type of investment or, just getting behind any type of ICO, because at this point there are so many different ones out there. And, I do a quick 10-15 minute analysis that I'm basically running you through with you guys right now. I go a little deeper, but I'm just kind of exposing you guys to how to really check out and see that, especially in the eSports space, which tokens or ICOs are going to succeed. And I think BetU is at the top of that list. So here's their roadmap. Definitely go through these points. Gives you an understanding of what they're expecting to achieve. And, usually you want to keep an eye on some of these projects. You don't want to just make a decision overnight. So I like to hold companies accountable off of their basis. So if this is their, Q3 goals, then the end of Q3 is coming up. We're in mid-September right now. It's a few weeks away. By mid-October or so, I want to see that these were completed. And if they weren't, then I like to see or hear about why they were not. And those are usually when I kind of target out to their team on social media. If it's something that I'm continuing to follow and be interested in, then I'll kind of engage them on a social media platform and just inquire more, just to make sure that it's a company that everyone's still behind. Because even if there's some genius, industry and product, which I believe this company has, the team is also super important, and making sure that there's not, internal fighting or any issues there. So, the fact that they're hiring, also another great sign. They're not just, trying to take the profits, run away with, which is usually my number one kind of fear when looking into these platforms. But the other core indicator of the success of an ICO is to ensure and check out their white paper. So I like that they have both a white paper and an investor deck, but we're going to kind of poke through both. So the white paper is the number one tool that you need to use and go through before you ever decide on investing or getting behind or getting involved with any ICO or token sale. So I like how they have theirs out here. And essentially, this just gives us a good overall understanding. You want to make sure you understand how it works. And some of these might be a little bit more intrinsic in terms of like technology stack. Team is always important. The tokenomics is always important. Now, you might not understand it at first when you just look at one or two of different ICO projects, but after you spend some time, going through a couple of them, you'll start understanding the similarities and what to focus on. So I'll link to this in the description below, but I think it's pretty clear from a market standpoint that the industry is just getting bigger and bigger, and the fact that it's listed on PancakeSwap, and they have some of the top 10 exchanges listings planned. I mean, that'll put them in a good position to start getting more and more promotion and more adoption, which should give a lot of value to the BetU token. So this is obviously all stuff that you'll want to poke through and just get an understanding of. I mean, people who have been involved in different sports betting will probably understand this a little bit better. So they'll be able to compare it to what's already out there, like on companies like DraftKings and such. But yeah, this is, again, the team. You want to just understand and make sure that it's not just one or two people that you can't find or you haven't heard of. I like how they have almost 2 pages of people, and it's always important to see how many developers they have. The developers are the people that are actually going to be building the product, obviously. So, it's good to have some high C-level people, but if there's no one actually doing the dirty work to actually build the product, then that's another thing you want to stay away from. So in this, they seem to have a good balance. Seems to have like about 10 engineers, or 12 actually here. And it looks like they're actually working with a platform here. So I would definitely do, if I was going to move forward, and I probably plan to, I might do another video on, their developers, and that's a whole nother kind of like style or kind of type of understanding to gain when you're looking into crypto projects. But yeah, this is definitely important to know who's building it and how they're working on it. This goes into the different utilities and goes into the fees and the token burning. Now, the reason I like this is because there's not going to be token burning is important because that prevents inflation from occurring, right? So they're not just going to be printing new and unlimited amounts of BTU tokens, because then whatever amount that you hold is going to kind of start losing value. So overall, definitely go through this. And yeah, I mean, in terms of project and in terms of success from a display standpoint of what they have, I definitely like where BetU is going, and we'll definitely keep an eye on them. So if you're interested in getting involved in sports betting, and especially doing it in the cryptocurrency realm, then betu.io is the way to go. As always, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me at admin, that's ADMIN, at inpennystock.com. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Take care.